So this year we have 4 new iPhone 14 models, and I think I'm just going to get to the point here and ask the question, why is the iPhone 14 more expensive in other countries? At the end of the day, Apple advertised at their latest Far Out event that the price has not changed at all. In fact, it is still the same. For example, let's take the iPhone 14 Pro Max. The starting price is $1,099 US, and that price has not changed in years now. The iPhone 13 Pro Max was the same price. The 12 Pro Max was the same price, as you can see here. So there's no difference. But yet, why is it more expensive in other countries? Now, there are lots of different reasons why it's more expensive to buy an iPhone in another country. But one of the first things I must mention to you guys, if you've never been to the USA, so you guys in the USA will know about this, but nobody else in the world will know you've never been there, is to do with sales tax. When Apple actually advertised their brand new iPhone 14 Pro Max, for example, at $1,099 US, when you actually buy it, that is not the price that you'll pay. You actually have to pay sales tax, and depending on what state you live in the USA, depends on how much that tax will actually be. And I've got a couple of examples here for you. So for example, in New York City, it will cost you actually $1,196.54 for the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Then if you went to the other side, to the other coast, and actually decided to buy your iPhone from there, where Apple HQ are in California, then actually the iPhone 14 Pro Max would actually cost you $1,195.16. So that's about $1.50, a little bit less than New York City. It's not really that much. But a lot of you guys don't actually know, probably in the USA, that in other countries all around the world, we actually have our sales tax actually built into our prices. So what the price you see on the label or what you see on Apple's website is the price you're going to pay. There's no extra tax to pay. It's everything all in one. So for example, here in the UK where I'm from, the iPhone 14 Pro Max costs £1,199. And just for the record, that is £100 more than it was last year for the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Then if I start to move a little bit east around the world, let's say we go to another country in Europe, let's say Germany, let's see how much the iPhone 14 Pro Max is there for the 128GB model. It is €1,449. And to be honest, the dollars and the euros are around about the same now in their exchange rate. And I've got a little chart to show this in a minute. But let's continue to move on around the world. Let's go to India next. And in rupees for the iPhone 14 Pro Max, it costs 139,900 rupees for the 128GB model. Then finally, let's go a little bit more, even more east, and let's go to the Philippines, and let's see how much the price is there. So it would cost you 77,990 peso for the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the 128GB model. And you're probably wondering, with all those different currencies and all those different countries, what does that translate to in US dollars? Well, funny enough, I've actually got a chart for this, and let's run through that chart right now. So if you were to translate the UK pounds, it would actually come out at $1,389.01. And then in euros in Germany, that actually would come out at $1,449.10. Remember, like I said, the currencies are almost neck and neck with the euros and the dollars, as you can see here. Then in India, with the rupees, it would actually be $1,762.63. And then in the Philippines, for the peso, it would actually end up being $1,367.40. And in fact, just in case you were wondering, I've actually translated it the other way around. So say with California, how much it costs there, it costs $1,195.16. I've actually translated that back to those countries' currencies to see how much it would actually be worth. So in the UK, if that $1,195, it would actually be £1,032. In Germany, in euros, it's basically the same. So it'd be €1,195.05. In India, it would be 94,913.60 rupees, and in the Philippines in peso it would be 68,168.55. So you're probably thinking at this stage, wow, it's sales tax, that is a huge amount. Well, it's not just sales tax, there are lots of other factors to include too of why the prices are so more expensive in other countries. You've got to remember, we've got shipping costs on ferries. We've also got import taxes when actually that product comes into your country. Your country can actually tax how much they want to take off it, and obviously Apple have to get that money back. They're not going to lose out on it, and you're the ones who are going to have to pay for those taxes. But most importantly, in the last few years, there's actually been even more factors. And one of those is actually how much your currency is worth to other countries, depending on what the situation is going on in your country. So right now, the US dollars is actually holding very, very strong. And this is why Apple haven't increased the price in the USA, because the currency is doing really, really well at the moment compared to other countries. You must remember at the end of the day, the last few years, we've had COVID. And with COVID, a lot of factories shut down, production slowed down, and it's taking a long time still to actually get products shipped out there. And because of this, there's more demand for products, and with that actually causes prices to actually increase. A good example of this, of products that are still taking a long time to meet demand, is, for example, you've got that brand new Steam Deck. I managed to be fortunate to actually get my hands on one of these products, and I absolutely love my Steam Deck. It took over 4 months to actually come for me from its actual release date, and I actually pre-ordered this on the day, on like the minute that you could pre-order them, and yet it still took 4 months to get to me after the release date. And it's not just this either. If you are an Xbox or a PlayStation fan, you'll know that going into a shop right now to go and pick yourself up a PS5 off the shelf, it's impossible. You're not going to find one. You have to pre-order one, or just be lucky when it comes in and quickly grab it off the shelf. They are gone instantly. There is not enough to meet demand. And in fact, Apple have actually suffered from this as well in recent months as well. Just have a look here at the Mac Studio. Let me just pick like the M1 Ultra option, and you can see here there is still a considerable wait time. The same with other Apple products, as you know, it's all slipped back. In fact, even the iPhone 14 has now slipped right back, as you can see here at the time of making this video in mid-September time. Like I said, there are other factors too. In Europe, for example, right now, gas and electricity is going to be a little bit harder to come by this winter. And because of this, prices have soared up in the air, and it's not helped with that Ukrainian war that's going on right now. But I guess that question is still open for Apple itself. Well, why doesn't the price just stay the same, equivalent across all countries? And like I said, it comes down to that dollar weight to other currencies. Apple have to make the same amount of money equivalent in dollars, and that's the weight of the dollar in their own country. So for example, right now we can go on sort of currency exchange websites which show the difference of, say for example, where I am here, the pound to the dollar sort of difference, but it doesn't actually mean anything. All it's doing is a translation of what it means. If the actual dollar is worth more, at the end of the day, the pound will be worth less. It's just simple in how it works. So don't actually use a currency exchange thing, even though I just showed a chart of that, because it's not actually showing a true figure. As you can see, there are so many different factors of why the actual prices are more expensive in other countries. And in fact, what I would actually say is that some companies out there have actually increased their prices already on some of their products. So for example, with Sony, with the PlayStation 5, for example, they recently have announced that they've actually increased the price, and this is generally due to global economics, as you know what I've just explained about. So for example, here in the UK, the PlayStation 5 costs £30 more than it did, say, 6 months ago. But the good news is what Apple don't do is they never actually increase the prices of their product or the model they've released. So say for example, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, when it came out last year, the price remained the same throughout the whole year. But when the iPhone 14 has come out this year, say here in the UK, it's gone up to the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but the 13 Pro Max is still the same price. They have not changed it. Apple are very good in that they don't increase the price throughout the year, depending what's going on in the world. So we have to actually kind of be grateful at least for that. So if anything, I would actually say, depending on how the world's going to shape and shift in the next year, it might be worth getting yourself an iPhone 14 this year, because if the world's going downhill with its economic sort of crises right now, the iPhone 15 models are probably going to be more expensive in your country. So in conclusion, The USA price has stayed the same, and the main reason is because the dollar is holding a lot of weight inside it, whereas other countries' sort of global economics are not helping with things like gas and electricity shortages, import taxes, sales taxes could be even more. Also, the Ukrainian war is not helping either. The sort of recovery from COVID is still ongoing, that basically items are still hard to get hold of. All of these factors are just not helping, and this is why maybe in your country right now that the iPhone 14 models are more expensive than the iPhone 13 models that came out last year. And with that, guys, I hope this video has helped you, and it's time to wrap it up. So if you have enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button, and also at the same time as well, if you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews and comparisons, please make sure that you click subscribe, followed by that notification bell. Until next time, guys, I will see you really soon. Take care now. Bye bye.